Hey, what's going on, folks? Brad Lee. As you know, I'm about ready to drop bombs with Marcin Ruman with a company called Emersoft. He's like a digital wizard, knows crypto inside and out. He's running around to all the conventions and all the freaking seminars and all the consortiums, the symposiums to get all the information. And now I'm going to pick his brain on the podcast to see if he can help some of the listeners figure out their marketing needs. What do you think Emersoft does? It's really a
technology
house.
company,
Huh?
enterprise technology company.
So what do you do mainly for people?
So mainly we provide development resources like with Lightspeed. Lightspeed is one of our.
So you're a bunch of coders.
That's right. 25 people.
People that know what they're doing.
That's right.
It's hard to find right now. See, before I saw those way bigger. Now I can't see them. Before I saw those way bigger. Tell them, pull it out. There you go. More. Perfect. Look at that. They just keep scrolling. Hey, your buddy's on there. Powell says this is a good one. Is it Pavel?
Pavel, yeah, my business partner. I told him we're going live.
Michelle Thompson's watching from Ontario. Bradley, what's up? So anyway, if you guys have questions, we're not doing the podcast yet. We're about to drop bombs. So I said, let's go live, take maybe some questions from the old viewer and audience. You guys got any questions for Marcin or me? Doesn't even have to be related to building technology, leveraging technology. Sydney, Australia, what's going on, man? I want to get down there here pretty quick. Sydney, Australia. I've always wanted to go to Sydney, Australia. When I met my wife, I said, if we could go anywhere in the world, where would we go? And she said, Australia, Sydney, Australia. I said, I'll take you there. And we're married for 12 years now, and I still haven't taken her there.
What?
So I got to get down there. But folks, what did I do when I said that to my then prospect, now wife? What was I doing? I was making her think in her mind. I was making her think in her mind, us together in some dream vacation. So men out there that aren't off the market, maybe you're still looking. When you ask a girl, if you and I could go anywhere in the world, where would we go? Now, if they go, I wouldn't go anywhere with you. Well, then that's not really a prospect. I'm talking about one that you're talking to. You get them to mentally picture you guys together in a dream location. If we could go anywhere in the world, where would it be? And they start to picture you and her on a beach in Fiji. And they'll say, Fiji or, the south of France or Monte Carlo or whatever they say. What are we doing? We're laying on the beach. They're mentally picturing you guys together. And you haven't even freaking asked her for anything. You haven't even tried anything. You just met. Like, this is literally just meeting. So anyway, if you guys are looking for a partner or a someone to get with, that's a little technique that I used to use when I was on the market. And all it was is visualization. You get them to visualize you guys being together. And not only that, but when you say anywhere in the world, they basically take liberty and pick the most kick-ass spots. You don't even have to pay for it, which is beautiful because they'll picture you in a 5-star hotel and you didn't even have to pay the bill. They'll picture you guys at the greatest restaurants and they don't have to pay and you don't have to pay the bill. But you got the benefit and the experience because you got them to imagine the experience. See, dude, this is why I'm one of the damn best in the country, in the world, perhaps, for sales, I think. I don't know anybody that's better at sales and closing than Bradley. Does anybody want to argue? I know there's a lot of kick-ass salespeople that follow me. We should have some sort of sell-off, close-a-thon. Because, dude, it's hard to prove that you're the best, I guess all you can do is look at results. So I guess if someone wants to say that they're better than me at closing, I want to see your bank statements and I want to see your track record. I'll show you mine, but you better freaking have a ladder so you can stand up, make sure all the zeros can fit in the picture. You got all your buddies watching this. Crypto Costa says Marcin Ruman, the legend.
That's right.
The Gruha. All right, anyway, folks, we're about to drop bombs. I don't know if I'm going to leave it live and let you guys watch or just end the live and do the podcast. Either way, if I do let it go, then you guys are just watching me and him film an episode of dropping bombs. So again, we're not looking at the screen. We can't see your comment. I mean, we can see them, but we're not taking questions from you guys. So right now, we're just doing a live before the podcast. So if you have questions, now's the time to ask them. If you're wondering, well, questions for what? Well, for me, anything, relationships, sales, closing, business, sales, life, you know, how do you build confidence? How do you get the girl? What do you invest in? What should you invest in? That type of thing. Oh, look, my buddy Adnan Khafaja is saying hello. What's up, Adnan? How you doing, buddy? He says, Trump don't pay taxes. Is he First Nations? LOL. We got that privilege. Many just don't exercise. Are you able to tap into who Trump's accountant? I don't even know the question, but Trump does pay taxes just like everybody else. He just his team figures out how to make it zero because he leverages depreciation. Folks, if you don't want to pay taxes, buy real estate. If you don't want to pay taxes, show depreciation. And there's certain things out there, cost segregation, you know, there's programs that basically if you buy a $40 million building, you can depreciate, you know, up front, let's say, for example, 20 million. So let's say you owe $20 million in taxes or $20 billion. It doesn't matter how much you owe. And this is what Trump did. So basically, you know, Trump showed a $900 million loss, right, against his $900 million gain. Well, guess what? Then that's zero. So he owes no taxes. So when he says doesn't pay taxes, oh, he filed and he just didn't owe any. Why would you pay taxes you don't owe? What kind of dipshit pays taxes that they don't owe? So when they say he doesn't pay taxes, they make it sound criminal. He pays taxes. He just doesn't owe any. And the reason he doesn't owe any is because they have rules in place, little what we call loopholes. And those loopholes, and by the way, this is not financial advice, just for the disclaimer purposes. I am not an accountant. I don't have any degrees in accounting. I just ask questions and figure out what are they doing, what are they talking about. And ultimately what they're doing is when someone, let's say you owe $20 million in taxes. If you go buy a $20 million building and cost seg and depreciate it in the first year, or a jet, or whatever the rules are, and they change, so you always have to have the people that know the rules on your team like Trump does. But essentially what they're doing is they're saying, hey, you're about to write a check for $20 million to the IRS. You might as well go buy this jet and depreciate it. So that he goes and buys, he takes that same $20 million that he would have given the IRS, and he goes and he buys a building. Okay, and that building now he depreciates $20 million. So he still shows that he made 20 million, but he also just lost 20 million, which makes it zero taxes. That's legal to do. In fact, Trump said at one point to Hillary Clinton, when she was trying to point out, you're not paying those taxes. You're not paying those taxes. Well, he says, well, that's because I use the same rules that you guys put in place. If you want me to pay taxes, change the rules. Then he said, but I know that you won't, because all your donors are using the same rules to not pay taxes either. Amazon, Google, all the huge companies, they're all doing the same thing. The only people that really pay taxes are the regular folks like us that don't have the top shelf advice, and or, you know, people that, you know, just don't know. Everyone else pays taxes. I pay taxes. I can't figure out how to get it to zero yet. So I started looking and I started checking it out, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's what they're doing. Are you paying taxes?
I am, yes, sir.
See, so you ain't figured it out yet either. Have you?
It's good for valuation to pay taxes as well. It doesn't mean you pay much.
It's not good for valuation. Someone lied to you.
Okay.
Dude, trust me. When you say, well, I made nothing, you think the company's worth nothing?
No.
Trust me, dude. Trust me. There are ways where you don't have to pay taxes because you don't owe any, even though you did make money. How? As an example, accelerated depreciation. That's an example. And there's probably other ways. And then there's trust structures you can put in place. I just pay taxes because I don't believe half the shit I hear. And at the end of the day, I don't even mind paying taxes.
That's right.
You know, but this year, 2025, folks, I'm buying real estate. In fact, if I were you guys and you're making money, if you're watching this and you're making money, what I would highly suggest you guys do is learn to buy businesses that are cash flowing with very little money down or no money down, which is very possible. In fact, January 25th, if you guys go to realbizacquisitions.com, realbiz, B-I-Z, acquisitions.com, you can see the event stuff there. But we're teaching people in one day how to buy cash flowing businesses with zero to no money down. It's unbelievable. And why go through the struggle of building your own business and scaling your own business and risking all that risk when you theoretically could just go buy a business that's already faced the risk and they've already beat it? And they're in business and they're cash flowing profitably. And you walk in, boom, now you're the owner and that's your cash flow. And then again, some people are going to want to keep rolling that up. Well, guess what? I can show them how to take that, sell that, and then go buy a bigger business. So again, if you're in real estate or you're an investor or you're wondering how to make money in 2025, come to that event, Real Business or Real Acquisitions, and you go find it, realbizacquisitions.com. Anyway, we're going to get ready to do this podcast. By comment, you guys want to stay live and just watch it for a little while, or do you want me to just clippy? Old Crypto Costa says, yo, Brad, do you agree that $1 million at 22 years is worth more than $100 million? Disappeared. $100 million in your 30s. 1 million at 22 is worth more than 100 million in your 30s. No, I don't agree with that. Because again, a lot of people think 8 years from now, you could turn that million into a zillion. Dude, 8 months from now, you could be dead. So I would rather fucking have $1 million at 22 than 100 million at 30 because of that reason. But if you're suggesting it like you are, you're saying, what would you rather have? Well, I'd rather have 100 million at 30 guaranteed rather than hand me 1 million right now. So if I'm 22 years old and they said, I'll give you $1 million right now, or in 8 years, I'll give you 100 million, take your pick. I'm picking 100 million in 8 years. Why do you ask? Real Deal Prime wants to watch. Adrian, yeah, you can work for me. Guys, I advertise every day. I'm hiring. Okay, I'm hiring. I can hire everybody. If you ain't making $200,000-$300,000 a year and you want a job, go to bradlee.com and apply to work for me. Okay, and again, if you need training, I'll train you. If you are already ready to rock and roll, well then let's rock and roll. But at the end of the day, yes, I'm hiring. Oh, Gavin says, I'm going to ask one more time. I'm not trying to bother, just really trying to get on some money moves. Any info on the remote closers? Gavin, yes. Again, what do you want from me? I will hire you as a remote closer, but you have to be able to close. So if you're qualified, yes, I'll hire you. If you're unqualified, I need to train you. Well, Gavin, it says you're going to need training. Well, then I'll train you. Dude, sign up for the program and get through the training and you're guaranteed a job. Guaranteed a job. Folks, I'll guarantee anybody, if they do the work, that they're going to, like right now I tell people, Marcin, if you're not making more than 100 grand, just 100, if you're not making more than 100,000, which is a lot of people, surprisingly, then come work for me and I'll show you how to make a couple 100,000. And then we'll take it from there. But you got to make a couple 100,000 to get out of the rat race. If you guys truly want out of the rat race and you want, to live a pretty decent life, you got to be in the $200,000-$300,000 range, especially nowadays. Taxes are rising, inflation, all the shit that's going on. So people that are making less than $100,000, paying taxes, raising families, 9 times out of 10, they're stuck in what we call the rat race. You are stuck. If you have no money left over, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, even at a high level, right? Even at a high level, you're stuck. Why? Because you can't get wealthy without investing. You got to have money to invest. So what's the trick? Well, the trick's very simple. First of all, you raise your income, not your expenses. Well, how do I do that? You sell something, fool. You sell the right shit. Okay, sell something, man. It's not rocket science. Well, I don't like sell. Well, those are all your choices. But the answer is you sell something. Okay. The question is, well, what do you sell? You know, things that cost money, high ticket items. But at the end of the day, you sell something. So that's how you raise your income. Even if it's part-time or you got to do a side hustle, you sell something. Okay. Quit trying to act like it's complicated. You sell something. That's what you do. Once you sell something, now you start making commission, you start making more money. Once you start making more money without raising your expenses, well, now you have discretionary income. You start investing that, and guess what? That money starts to make money, and pretty soon, over a 5-10 year period, you get wealthy. Most people don't do that. They make more money, then they spend more money, and they're just broke at another level. So even if you're making 300 grand, if you're blowing it all on cars and trips and watches and stuff like that, you're still not going to get out of the rat race. You guys want out of the rat race? There's a very simple process to do so. In fact, I've built a ladder. I've built a ladder right out of the rat race. Anyone can climb it, but the trick is you have to climb. Because if I got to go climb that ladder for you, well, then I climbed out of the rat race on the ladder, not you. Like, I can't do it for you guys. You got to climb out of the rat race. Then that'll solve the problem. Take the training, work for one of my companies in sales, and boom, now you make money. Money will get you out of the rat race. I'll show you how to invest it. I'll put together some funds. You can invest it with me. I got funds paying certain things. I'm figuring all that out. But trust me, guys, to make any excuse other than what you know most people say is stupidity. Anyone can freaking get wealthy. It's a process, and anyone can do it. Period. So, Gavin, if you want to do it, you say, "Hey, man, I got to get trained." Well, dude, you realize that that's the truth. Now go get the training, and then I'll give you the job. If somebody's listening to this and they don't need the training, they're already badass, well, then I don't need to train you. Let's go. I got opportunity for you too. So yes, I'm hiring. What else? You got any for Marcin? Again, Marcin from Emersoft, my man. We're about to drop bombs here in the Dropping Bomb Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. Marcin Ruman. That's right. Polish.
That's right.
Looking like Where's Waldo over there. Say something so they can see it. There you go.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you. Hey, put a thumbs up if you guys can hear my man Marcin.
Yeah, should be working.
Brad Davidson wants to know if you think your dong is smaller than mine.
I'm not going to answer this question because I don't know.
Brad Davidson's what we call a troll. Okay, good. Real question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to scale in business in your 20s to $10 to $20 million?
Go to Bradley. That's I'm from your stable actually. So I came here 7 years ago. We can go into a quick story, but I'm from the Bradley stable. So you guys go to Bradley if you're in your 20s. What's the link? I don't even know, but Bradley.com.
Well, again, Marcin, you can ask that if you got a company doing 10 or 20 million. Do you yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to ask that, Crypto. See, Marcin, what advice would you give someone who wants to scale business 20 to 20 million? His advice was good because he said go to Brad Lee or anybody that knows how to do it. Old Timothy from Nigeria, what's up, big dog? So at the end of the day, I can answer your question, Crypto. I can answer it because I've done it. And you only want to take advice from people who have done what it is you're trying to do. Don't listen to nobody that hasn't done it themselves. Just like all these fools wanting to find out if I want a bunch of fake followers in my DMs. I can get you 1 million followers. Dude, you don't have 1 million followers. What makes you think I believe you can get me 1 million followers? So to answer your question, it's very simple. Here's how you grow and scale a business. First thing you got to do is generate more opportunities to do business. If you don't know how, that's what you need to figure out. How do you generate more leads? Way more leads. Okay, you want to scale 3 times, you need 3 times the opportunities. Okay, then you're going to need people to manage those things and deliver on what it is that you're selling those people. And then you want to organize and automate all of it to maximize conversions, maximize customer satisfaction, and make it all work. So to grow and scale a company from 1 million to 10 million or 100 million, it's the same answer. You got to increase the lead opportunities. If you're getting 100 leads a day, well then, and you want to grow 3 times, you need 300 leads a day, right? It's not rocket science. So increase your lead conversion or your lead opportunities, which will then require you to increase your staff and your resources. And then that would, need to be organized and automated. So if you got the technology, which is why I'm talking to Marcin today, if you got the technology, the systems and processes documented, and the tech stack dialed in. A tech stack, if you don't know what a tech stack is, you're way behind. But a tech stack is simply what is all the software you're using to do this, to the technology, the tech stack. You get the tech stack in place and all the sequencing and nurturing and organization documented and systematized to where you have an answer for everything. You got all the right people in place, and you grow and scale those leads. Now, when you want to scale, you already got the people, you already got the freaking organization and the automation. Now, all you do is turn this dial up and you just crank up the leads, and that's marketing. So again, you got to learn marketing, you got to learn freaking technology, and you got to learn how to build teams. That's how you grow a company to 20 million. And it took me a long time to figure that out. In fact, the whole team thing is my weakness. Building teams. Anyway, folks, listen, we're about to go drop bombs. I'm going to let the camera continue. Guys, just keep it live. I'm going to act like it's not on there. One more question with old Ramfectu. Marcin, how long did it take you to get to the point where you developed your company enough to sell your first product? And did you ever list your project for sale?
It's a long question. Let's get to it on the podcast.
Yeah,
I can tell
too
a
long
story.
of a question, Ramfec. All right. We're acting like they're not there. You ready?
Let's roll.
Okay, don't talk during the music because I don't edit. I just freaking play us in and play us out. You ready?
Let's roll.
Here we go, ladies out there. We ready?
Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Brad Lee is dropping bombs.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs today in the studio, folks. As always, I got a real treat for you. My man, Marcin Ruman's in the house. What's up, Marcin?
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Brad.
Dude, if you guys ain't heard of Marcin, man, where you been? He's at every damn conference I've ever been to speaking. You're always seemingly there. How many conferences do you go to a year?
I've done a lot in the last 3 years.
And do me a little bit of a favor.
Yeah.
Say it with the chest.
I'm still developing this part. I'm only 31 years old. So.
That's my way to say speak up.
Speak up.
Yeah, everyone's going to be like, dude, I couldn't hear him. So guys, Marcin, owns a company called Emersoft. Emersoft is a technology house. He develops software. He does all kinds of crap. He's got 20, 30 guys all dialed in, knows exactly how to build CRMs from scratch, websites, funnels. I mean, that's kind of like basic stuff. He's now doing enterprise level software development for major companies. He started it from scratch. I hired him a couple times to do a couple things here, didn't we? You still do, don't you?
We've worked together for the last 7 years. I mean, not.
I know, but
Jason.
again, dude, you think I know what we do here developmentally, and I have no clue. I say, man, I need a button that does this, and then the next thing you know, there's a button. I don't know if you built it or we built it, and when I say we, you might be part of we.
I am.
Right. So we've used him. He does good stuff. He definitely freaking, doesn't run off with your money, which is a big problem out there in the world. When you hire developers and tech stack people and CRM freaking designers and all this shit, dude, I found that a lot of them are not everything they say they are.
Yeah, I always tell my clients, I never give up on you. You might not be the right client for me yet, but I'm never giving up on you. I'm working on a deal right now with a client who is based in California, and some clients are very particular. Let's put it this way. And it got to the point where it escalated, where I had to take over the deal. I'm sure you probably you had situations like that before. And I called this client and I said, listen, I never give up on my clients. I'm never gonna give up on you. I'm losing the money on this deal. I'm very transparent with my client. I'm losing money on this deal right now, but I'm willing to go and invest if you're willing to work with me.
Because you see them getting bigger someday.
That's right.
It'll all come back in the end type of thing.
That's right. So that's LTV, like customer lifetime value. If you don't understand that, meaning there's like money, as long as the relationship is there, that's something that I've read in your book. As long as the relationship is there.
That's right.
The money is flowing.
Relationships, dude, that's what it's all about. Although, I mean, it needs to also be a little bit about money if you're trying to be a profitable organization. So at some point, dude, you got to get paid.
It's got to be a qualified client, someone who is, but that's a qualified client. We just got to the point where I had to escalate, and I was very transparent with the client, and that's my attitude. I would never give up on a client, never.
But at some point, that will elevate your client list too. Because that's called good customer service. So now all of a sudden you start attracting better customers. Why? Because it's all about customer service.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You can't, in your world, I'll just use tech as an example. I've paid people $15,000 to come in and set up a simple CRM because the CRM is so damn complicated. I don't know how to go in and make it do what I saw on the demo. So I'm like, man, the demo was awesome. That's what I want. Then I buy the software and I can't get the software to do what the demo did, which made it sound so valuable. So now you're stuck because you have a contract on this freaking CRM that you don't know how to mess with because you're a salesman or you're a CEO. You're not a damn tech genius. And all your tech geniuses tell you they know what they're doing. And then they go in there and they are not doing it right. So like I'm looking for a tech guy mixed with a marketing guy that understands what we should be tracking and what dashboards we should be looking at. So I find this guy, I give him 15 grand. 2 weeks, oh, he's got a process. Oh yeah, his process, right? 2 weeks, I play his game, we go through his process. At the end of 2 weeks, but mind you, dude, this is not a hard job. He probably, if someone knows what they're doing, they could have done that in a day.
That's right.
But I don't know if the 2 weeks process was just to make it seem like it's worth 15 grand, but whatever the case is, after 2 weeks, he comes back and he says, okay, so I need this, and this. Well, you could ask for that day one. Well, we don't know till we get in there. I told you exactly what I wanted day one. Nothing's changed except for nothing's happened. And I'm a little bit perturbed. So fine, here's those things. 2 weeks later, no answer. 2 weeks later, oh, sorry, my grandma died or some shit. 2 weeks later, oh, sorry, I'm just getting back from frickin' Bangladesh. Oh, I'm sorry, this, that, and the other thing. It's just excuse after excuse, and there's nothing that ever fucking happened. And finally, I get frustrated, walk away and say, dude, forget it. Or I hire someone else to get the job done. That's rampant in your business.
That's right.
So that's why customer service is so important.
Yeah.
But I mean, why do you think that is? Why do you think there's so many, I call them scammers. You tell me you're a tech guy, but you're not really a tech guy. You'll take my $50,000 deposit to build me an app, but the app never works like I described it.
Well, that's a very common problem, what you just said. And it's all about communication. And we always start with something called discovery to know what does the client need. Sometimes clients, and very often, they don't know what they need. And if
they know what they want, though.
Yeah, but yeah.
And sometimes
right.
I would imagine they think they know what they want, but what they need is not what they want.
That's right. And very often, because it's a lack of business acumen on their side, experience. And that's why I work with enterprise clients, Brad, because you don't have those issues very often.
Yeah, well, they're more organized and
They're
automated and
pros.
prepared.
I love pros. I love working with pros.
Competent people.
That's why. That's right, yeah.
Which is funny because you started out helping anyone who wanted help, and you thought, man, your business is going to blow up and Emersoft's going to get huge, and you're helping this influencer and that person, and they're just disorganized pain in the asses that end up costing you money.
Yeah, I call them retail. So when I went into investment world, I very quickly understood why they want to do business with pros and playing against the toughest, the best guys. Why? Because they know the rules of the game. They know what the bet that they're getting into, and they're betting. When you play with retail, you have headaches. So lawsuits, they don't have the money. They talk, they drain your time. And so going back to qualification, you need to know who is your target audience, who you can help. And then as you said, marketing. And marketing, part of marketing is knowing who are you addressing, like what's your target audience. So like getting into that point took us 5 years. Although I started with our first contract, I started the company back in London in the UK, as you know. And our first contract was with Canon, the camera company. You guys are using Canons here, so I was talking to one of your guys.
Canons or Sony?
Yeah, both. But I was talking to him, and I'm like, oh, that's our client. And so I love those clients. So I would love to get more of those clients, but there's a problem. Whales are deep in the water. And it takes a long time to get a whale. The small fish, they're swimming, high in the water. So sometimes in business, you need cash flow. So I'm going to eat a squirrel. I'm going to eat a fish. But then once in a while, you got a whale. Right now, we're talking to a huge company. The contract's pretty much done.
You got a whale on the hook.
We got a whale. It took how much? Took a long time to get this contract. Let's say a year. And there's no money yet. So what do you do throughout the year? Well, you hunt for fish. You go and you go fishing. So that's why. Also, we got, for example, into Salesforce and HubSpot, we're a certified Salesforce and HubSpot partner for CRM on the CRM side of things. And again, it takes time to develop that. And a lot of people that I talk to, that are entrepreneurs, they very often tell me, oh, I don't work with this guy. Even people on my team, they say, oh, we don't take this guy. Oh, we're not gonna work with. I'm like, no, you are gonna work with him, because what are you gonna, like, look at the cash flow here? It's not every month as a business owner. It's not that every month is like that. You have, you basically have higher lows, and as long as the lows are higher than before, that's presumably good. And that's why I always go back, because back in 2020, when I kind of go back a little bit, when we had the little cough season, let's put it this way. What happened then? My contract with Canon, after 3 years, pause. 90% of the revenue. So then I learned about customer diversification. That you can't rely on one guy giving you 90% of the revenue. That's not a business. It's still kind of big contract. Could be a business, but and then you go and learn all those lessons. But really, what I wanted, we'll get into that. But it all comes from mindset as you teach. So all those skills, like the business technical, people really overcomplicate that a lot. And then you're the best master at simplifying concepts. So when you say what is mindset, skills, and habits, really it goes into mindset. And here's why. Anybody who's starting a business, and I talk to a lot of people, and then you got it. I mean, you're showing up every day, and you've done extremely well, bro. You've done extremely well. And I watch some of the guys that come here, and then they're on the podcast or different podcasts. I don't watch that many podcasts, but a lot of guys that come here, they're young guys, they're starting businesses. They haven't seen shit in their life. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be good business people, but the moment shit hits the fan or something happens, that's when the business has troubles. Not because the business plan didn't work or this didn't work. I think it's because of inability of the guy who's running the business of the leadership, basically. And that's going back now to the roots where I come from. So we can go into
Where
that.
do you come from?
From Poland, post-communistic country.
What's it like in Poland?
Well, it's cold now, but
what town?
Krakow.
Krakow.
So
tell me about it.
So
because when I think of Poland, and I'm foolish, keep in mind, but I think of like a little kid with a dirty face and a fur-lined jacket standing in line with an empty bowl, hoping for some soup, with a little dirty teddy bear in the right hand. Like in other words, I picture like dirt roads and ladies with the scarves over their head, and they're pulling the cart with the sticks in it, and a little snot-nosed kid with a dirty face holding a dirty teddy bear with an empty bowl, hoping someone will put some soup in it. But that's not Poland. So what is Poland like?
Yeah. Or
am I describing Russia?
No, I think you're describing a stereotype from, you guys never been through it here, and nor the people. Well, not at least.
Been through what? Communism?
Yeah,
We went through it all for the last 3 years. What are you talking about?
Well, it's nothing in comparison to that.
That's true.
Although very.
So you grew up in that? How old were you?
So I was born in 1993, just after the Berlin wall came down, and then all I heard when I was growing up was when my parents and I was growing up in a very dysfunctional family. So I'll get into that. But anything from anybody that I heard was always, we had to line up with cards to get rations of meat or that or
that's
milk.
what I picture.
And that's what not my maybe parents directly were going through, but their parents and people, for example, had 10 kids after the Second World War, 5 kids, and somehow they could feed them. Somehow they could, because it was maybe necessary, it was a cultural thing. And now you go into where we are now, and people say, the demographics are declining. So we've gone through a huge cultural change, and it's not economics. When people say it's not just economics, I mean, people are just convenient. So, but going back, so I grew up in Poland, and so the stories that I heard from my parents were very, very close to what you're kind of describing. So the poverty was huge, especially after the Second World War. But
so your family had no money either?
We didn't have any money. I was, in fact, we were so poor that my mother was a beggar. I was going in front of a church, and a guy like you, a business guy, I was, 7 years old with a play card. My mother had a play card. She didn't have a dog, but there were some people with a dog. So you know why the dog is always next to the beggar?
Why? Sympathy?
Yeah. Get more money. So my mother took me. And I was the dog, in a way. And then I come back home, I wasn't from a very educated family. Nobody ever finished university, nothing. And then I would come back home, and then you have alcoholism. So violence, and my parents split when I was 3. But then when they split, my father became a gambler, and I went with my father. My sister went with my mother. And then at the age of 6, my father he became a gambler, alcoholic. He dropped me in front of my mother's house. Just kind of dropped me and left. That's it. And so I
never saw him again?
I saw him maybe once or two times, maybe 3 times.
Do you talk to him now?
No.
Would you if he reached out?
He did, for money.
Oh.
He was like,
one of those.
A good, you had a good father. Pointed you in the right direction. It was a long time ago. I bought my first investment property when I was in my early 20s. Again, I had a contract with Canon. We did pretty well, and I was learning how to invest. And so then my sister, they reach out to me to. I don't know. Maybe you've had people reaching out from your family, so you understand what I'm talking about. But I'm not anywhere where you are. But I had a little bit of a speed bump, so to call. Because number one, I'm growing up literally begging for money. We're eating garlic soup or instant soups for like $1 or less. That's what I was eating, bro. And
now how do you eat?
I'll get into that. But then I get back home. I'm 7, let's say. I'm with my mother, and then her partner that she, kind of found. He's a butcher, alcoholic, and just abusive guy, very abusive guy. And then what you see is the next 7 years, pretty much 10 years. It's just, the guy was, like he was a butcher, so he had a butcher house behind, very like strict disciplinarian and, alcoholic again. So I was, he would abuse us physically, for example, take a knife and in the middle of the night, I was pissing my pants, shitting my pants all my childhood. And then,
do you think it's affected you?
Oh yeah. So that's
Does it still affect you? Do you have trauma, or do you have it?
Me. Now it's a blessing. Now it's a blessing. So I had trauma in my early when I was a teenager. So kind of fast forward from that. I'm 13 and it got to the point where, the police was visiting our house very often, like every 2 weeks, month, because neighbors would call or something, because you have alcoholism every day. So you can imagine what happens. So basically, the guy beats my mother, beats us, picks up one of his butcher knives, and the stuff that I've seen and I've gone through, and then I'm 13, and at some point I've grown up a little bit, and then he beat my so the guy basically beat my mother for the hundreds of times, and I say, hey, stop, and I was always scared of him. So the first time I'm kind of maturing more, and I'm like, a guy who was kind of oppressive for this whole time, and I'm scared of him. Now I'm standing up against him, and then the next thing he does, he runs after me, and he he's chasing to kind of beat me up, but then he kind of punched me here. I remember he just punched me here, and he wanted to catch me. I ran out. I called the police. The police came, and he went to prison for 2 years. And then my mother,
for punching a kid?
No. But that's one of the things. But the stuff that he, did to us in the last 7 years, that's, if you were through that, a lot of people would, melt down like snowflakes a lot of the time. So, but anyway, that was just an obstacle, or maybe something that I had to go through. So I matured quite quickly when I was 13. I would go to my teachers and I said, hey, do you have any jobs? So a guy had a business, for example, he's like, you can hand out flyers. So for $10 a day, I would hand out flyers. And I never drank until I was 18, not even one drop of alcohol. I never, my friends were, smoking all those joints and all that. I never did that. I never touched that, because I knew what my parents gave me was what not to do. What not to do. And a lot of people, they don't get that. They get, what to do. No. You need to learn what not to do. And then, as your book says, right, the hard way. That's how we learn. We learn the hard way. So that affected me a lot. And then I got into an orphanage at 13. And when I got into an orphanage, now we have a prison system pretty much. An orphanage works I was with Catholic nuns, and I have to ask, you're locked up. So you don't go out and with friends and have normal, so I'm always looking at my friends and families. They travel to England, to Italy. I never had any of those things. I never traveled anywhere. So I started learning English, started just picking up subjects, and I was a DJ. I was already programming when I was 13. And the orphanage sent me to a Google Surf program in Krakow. And I talked to those Google tech guys, and I'm like, how much do you guys earn? I don't know, just ask them, how much do you guys earn? The guy tells me, I don't know, it was a long time ago. So he tells me, a huge number at that time. I don't know. He said $15,000 a month, which is, not that much money, but for a guy programmer.
Are you in Poland still?
Yes.
So is that a lot there?
For me, who never had anything.
Well, dude, it's a decent chunk of change here. It's 180 grand a year.
Yeah.
15 grand a month, you said?
15 grand a month. Yeah. I mean, Google programmers, I mean, they're great guys. And he tells me that number and I'm like, what? So, you know, a light went on. And I said, okay, so I'm going to learn that. And next thing I did, I built a website for my school. And then I basically gave it to our principal. And she used that as a recruitment tool. And I didn't have to learn any of the subjects in the secondary school because all the teachers knew that that's the guy that basically created something of value for the school. So all the teachers, especially the IT guy, he was like, you passed already. You have the highest score. You don't even need to show up. And that just really focused me on you know, on the direction. So I picked that, and since I was 13, basically I focused on web technologies. People didn't know about JavaScript back then. I bet on that. And then I'm like, oh, wow, I can actually pick up a technology, just like you picked up, you know, video training. So
I didn't pick it up, bro. I invented it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, I still ain't picked it up.
Yeah.
I found someone to design the system. But, dude, I didn't really pick up video training. I went out and I started training people. And it wasn't working like it used to. And I couldn't figure out why, because I was saying the same thing. And then I invented, you know, I discovered the reasons why most training doesn't work. And I solved the problem for myself by finding someone to build Lightspeed. I found a Marcin, I found a tech dude, which is Jason. So again, if I didn't find a Jason, I'd be screwed. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that if you don't find a guy like Marcin, you're screwed, because you'll get screwed left and right. And quite frankly, you know, you're going to need to leverage technology. So every single company, every single entrepreneur listening to this podcast right now should be thinking, dude, I need to find a Marcin, which is why I bring a Marcin to you. Again, like, dude, you know, call him, Emersoft. He's got an agency. Now, it's too late for him to come inside your company. So a lot of people think they need to have a guy inside the company. Dude, nowadays it doesn't matter. I'll 1099 everybody here as long as it's a dedicated and a reliable team. But what I find in your industry, bro, nobody's reliable.
That's right.
You guys got a reliability issue. And if you have a reliability issue, you've got a liability issue.
That's right. So
why is Emersoft so reliable?
It's leadership. So all goes back to leadership. And
well, here, I don't want
values.
Hey, I'm going to interrupt because I want to go back to the story. You were still getting through the childhood. And that's what I like to hear is where you came up. See, I didn't know any of this. So you used to get stuck with a knife and beat up and punked and shit on and abused. Why would your mom allow that?
Well, you know, she didn't know better, and you know,
How do you not know? I don't need to know better. If I got with a new wife and I came home and my new wife was pouring hot water on my daughter or threatening her with a knife or
it's pathology, bro.
I'd be like, pass. Well, that just means that your mom probably had some situations going on. What was her issues? I
mean, a lot of issues, you know, like it's just, you know, no education, no real examples. Like her family, I didn't know them. I don't even know my grandparents. I don't know anyone. We don't have any family.
Where's your mom now?
I don't know. Probably in Poland.
You wouldn't bring her over, or she?
No way.
So you cut yourself away from that.
Totally. And they came back to me. I wanted to help them, bought them some books initially, because in my early 20s.
You bought them some books?
Yeah.
Well, that's the right way to help them.
They
wanted money, but you said here.
And I would send money, but then they would. I'm like, as long as I know what's it for, I'll pay for it. If it's for a book or for, let's say, medical. So one day I get a phone call from my sister. Hey, I think I have a cancer, and I'm in London then, traveling the world. You know, I've been making pretty good money for a kid that never had money.
Yeah, coming from that, dude, it's surprising you made it.
Bro, I'm traveling to China, Latin America, Europe, all over the place. I'm traveling to CERN, Switzerland, that. I live in London, and I all developed that in 2 years. But and then obviously they see that because they see that, and I was posting here and there, and but there wasn't that much money to me, like, you know, back then, as because it kind of changes perspective. But yeah, I mean, my sister calls me, and I was in Spain then, and she's like, "Oh, I think I have cancer. Can you help me?" Sure. And I had great relationships with Catholic nuns, and I always smiled and pray, you know, and I'm grateful. I don't know, maybe I have 200 Catholic nuns praying for me. And that's why maybe, you know, I was lucky enough to get out of that and get here, get a green card in like literally, you know, a few months in the national interest waiver. Trump was still a president when I came here. So anyway, so she calls me. I think I have cancer. Okay, I'll help you. So I call my nan. She's a nurse, and I say, you have a lot of doctors that you know in your network. Can we help her? She said, sure. We'll set up an appointment with my private doctor, the best specialist in Krakow. But you'll need to pay for that. I said, absolutely. Wire the money to the to my nan, and she gave it to the doctor for the appointment. Next thing I call, and I was like a week after that, I was in, I think, Mallorca or something in Spain, and with a friend who works for a hedge fund now. Met him in London, very, very smart guy. And I said, so did my sister show up to the nun who is, you know? And she said, no, she never showed up to the appointment. So I text my sister, so what happened? Oh, I don't trust them. I don't know who they are. I'm like, I thought you had cancer. Oh yeah, no, yeah, if you pay me money, then I'll go to my doctors. I know who to go to. And then I said, okay, that's enough. It's enough. I mean,
dang, dude, sounds like you got a real lottery win for family members. Like, I thought I had it bad. I have a few of those stories, but it's just a couple of people in the family. But I know what you went through. So you just said enough's enough.
Yeah, and I'm 22. And then I'll go back a little bit. So I'm in the orphanage, and then there's this lady, my friend's mother, and she adopted me for weekends. She always kissed me on the back of my neck. Because I mean, imagine you're growing up, you never had any, like, parents. All my life was seeing gambling. A guy who was a butcher who was abusing us for years. Sometimes I had to, like, carry bricks to school in the backpack because I used the wrong knife to spread butter on my, because you're supposed to use, that's what he said, the wooden knife, not the steel knife, to spread butter. You know, you smacked me. You're not going to, like, you're gonna sit at home for a month, and then you have 2 bricks. You put them in your backpack. If I see you going to school that you leave the bricks, I'll chase you down. I'll beat you up so much. So I had to go. I have the bricks. So we have physical education. So and then, you know, kids do tricks to each other. When you're like in the secondary school, I was maybe, I don't know, 11 or something. So I had those bricks there, and the kids were throwing backpacks, and one of the kids threw my backpack, and he literally threw bricks on the floor. He's like, what is that? And they started laughing at me. Marcin carries bricks to school. And then, you know, one kid or someone, they knew that, you know, my mother was a beggar. I mean, they kind of heard it. So I was, all my life was shame. But I'm like, there's gotta be some, over the years when I processed that, I'm like, look what kind of lesson I got. So when my mother was taking me and she was begging for money in front of the churches, I've learned that there are people like you, for example. There was a business guy that would come out and every day would give us something. And every week or a month would give us a lot of money. Like a lot, I don't know, maybe $100, $200. One guy. He didn't know us. He didn't talk to us. He just saw the kid. You know, she saw him. My mother she was decent. And then I learned the lesson that, and it's Matthew 7:7 in the Bible. I'm not a big, I'm going back to God, and I don't know, maybe I'm maturing, but all my 20s, I was very rebellious, and I'm like, no, I don't believe, but I think there's no way you have a guy like me And then I moved to London. Then I moved to the US, and then on my own. I didn't have any family, anyone who. I have a British passport. Soon I'm gonna have a US passport. Nobody ever paid for that. And I was able to go to guys like you, Gary Cardone, and all of those guys. And I have no education. I mean, I've learned on my own. Speak 4 languages, and I've managed to get somewhere. I'm not happy. When I look at all the guys, I don't know, 20 something, 25, and tells me, oh, I made 10 million. I'm like, what? And I ask him, so what about your parents? Tell me about your story. They haven't done shit in their life other than they were successful because they bet on the right coin, or maybe, successful in business, which there's a lesson always to that. But I'm like, if you were through what I've been, and you had those speed bumps, I mean, if you were a drug addict or alcoholic, that would be good. So I had to deal with a lot, and I'm 18, I'm going out of the orphanage, and I'm like, I'm going to London. I didn't know anyone. I just had this vision, and I'm going to London in 5 years or whatever. I saw myself going to London with this, like, carry a backpack here. So I was just imagining that I'm carrying a suitcase, and we have an office in London, central London. So the way it started, I flew to London on the cheapest flight. I didn't know anyone. I was shaking. I've never been on a plane. I'm 18. I'm asking the guy next to me or someone, excuse me, how do I go through customs? How do I do it? Because I don't know. 18-year-old. I just graduated from this vocational school, IT school in Poland. And that was my first kind of milestone that I'm like, oh, wow, if I can graduate. And I was working 3 jobs in Poland. And I'm like, wow. So I can do something. So the next thing I do, I go to London. I don't know anyone. One guy, I was always talking to people because I've learned, that if you ask, they will help you. And I'm going to go to Matthew 7:7, which says, if you ask, you'll be answered. Knock, you'll be opened. And then try to prove this parable wrong. Try it in your life. It's always been true in my life, always. And then so I ask someone, and the guy tells me, oh, I know a Polish guy. He's a construction guy, because you had a lot of Polish construction guys migrating to UK. That's why, in UK they were laughing at us. Oh, you're Polish, so you're the construction guy. So now I'm in the UK, and I'm, bottom of the society, because anybody you ask, oh, Polish guy, that's a plumber probably, or a construction guy. No, I mean software. But I landed in construction, so I'm now at the construction. Guy gave me a job for like $7, $8 an hour. My first job in London. I was working 12 hours. I slept at the construction because I didn't have anywhere to sleep. Sat in London, and I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I would call people with my broken English, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. 2 months after that, guy name of Rob calls me and tells me, Marcin? Yeah. Oh, I saw your CV, and I had a few examples of what I've done, and he looked at it. Let's meet for a coffee, Central London. So I tell the guys, I have to go from work, and I have to take lunch, and I'm gonna be back, have a meeting. So I met with this guy, Rob, and he tells me, oh, I looked at your CV, looks really promising, you're very young, but I think we can find a junior position for you as a software developer. I have a friend in Farrington, Central London. I'm gonna connect you with him. I'm like, sure, that'll be awesome. And he said, but if you can help me with my website and things like that, that would be awesome. So I did. He was happy with it, and he connects me next day.
Is that where Emersoft was born?
That's where Emersoft was born. Then, but just early beginning. So then he connects me with Jay, and Jay sends me an email and asks me, how much would you like per hour? So I screened the company. The company is called AIMA, something like that. Big company, I think with American capital, or they had a beautiful office in central London, Farrington. And he tells me, and I tell him, I don't know what to answer. So I say 10 pounds, which is, I don't know, maybe $12 at that time, $13 an hour. I said too much. I don't know, but let's see. I'm earning $7 here, construction side. I'm working all day. It's dusty, dirty. I sleep in a room that's not even finished. It's just a construction with a bed that the Polish guys brought from somewhere for me. And I, and I shit in the bucket because it's a construction site. There's no
plumbing.
But I'll do whatever it takes. If I say I'm gonna come here, I'll come here. And I did the same thing then later with the US. But just to finish the story, so the guy, Jay, says, yeah, sure, come on Monday. And from that point, bro, it was like a launch pad. It catapulted me. Within 3 months, I got another job, and they're paying me now $25,000. Within 3 months, I get a full-time contract with this British company because I always wanted to work with Brits. Why? Because I assimilate. I see a lot of Hispanicos, and you have a lot of Latinos here that are listening probably, and I see the same problem here. I'm like, why are you not assimilating with people like Brad, people from here that understand the culture? Why are you speaking Spanish or whatever language you're speaking? Like you're in America, like you start assimilating. So to me it was just not natural. You don't need to be an Einstein or whatever. The Uber driver is talking to me he's from Argentina. I'm like, how long have you been here? Which, by the way, I speak Spanish. So I'm like, ¿cuántos años vives aquí? He's 19 years. Excuse me? 19 years? So I'm like, wow, it's 19 years and you haven't found Brad yet? I need to give you a link. So you gotta sign up, but you gotta learn English first. Maybe you're gonna open an English school or something for those guys.
Well, dude, listen to the story. I was trying to find out at some point, and then when did you first meet me, and how did that happen?
Yeah. So look at this.
I mean, dude, you're not that old, so like that. So you're real close to eventually coming here and meeting me and everything else.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm 19, and so again I get 25,000 within next 6 months. I get to maybe a year. I get to 40,000 pounds a year. A guy from orphanage. I've never had a job, like a real job. I don't even know what it means. I always hustled flyers here, this and that, bartender, whatever it takes. I had 3 jobs, and in Poland, and so then I'm like, I mean, that's too slow for me. I get 40. They pay me 40,000, and I get too quick. I mean, all this programming stuff, it's too boring for me. I don't wanna sit down and talk to people. So I signed up to Toastmasters, and I'm like, I went to a few Toastmasters. Within maybe 4 Toastmasters, I started speaking on stage. So, and I'm still very at that time I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I'm talking in a different language, but I'm like, as long as I can do it, I know I can do it. And I just left it because the people, I just go through the same drill every time, do the mispractice. I'm like, I'm not growing here, so I left, and then I opened my company, my first company, and I found a partner in the same office building, and he promised me to be the guy who brings leads. He's like, you take care of the tech, I'll bring leads. It was a Nigerian guy. And I didn't know how to screen partners then, and he's like, oh, he had an office, he had some deal flow. So I'm like, okay, let's try it. So all my savings that I saved, I'm like, I'm gonna build the team. So watch me. So I hired 5 people. I opened an office. I hired them in Poland full time. I'm 20 something, maybe 22 at that time. I'm already 2 or 3 years in London. And long story short, the guy didn't bring any business. I've built, the operations, build the team, and they were very, very good. I brought a few deals for them, but they weren't big enough. So I'm like, so I need to learn how to sell, because I don't know that. I don't know how to bring those leads. And then I had to go back to my full-time job. So I went and I worked at a company, traded at the London Stock Exchange. I got a job like that because I'm like, okay, let me test myself, because I was literally, I burned all my savings to the point where I had to borrow from my friends. So I borrowed, I don't know, a few $1,000, few $1,000, and I'm like, I'm gonna find a job and I'll repay you guys. I repaid, of course, and I found this job at this Playtech, registered again. It was a software company registered in the London Stock Exchange. So I went from a smaller company to now a huge company in FTSE 100. and I'm learning these corporate rules, and I'm like, this is so boring. I mean, I was going to work, and I had astral journeys. I can do it. So you feel that. So and that's where Gruha also was born, which we'll get to. But
we better hurry, dude. We only have an hour.
Yeah. So let me cut to chase. So then, after Playtech, I found through I just put on the internet that, I'm looking for a contract as a front-end developer, and I found this guy, and he was like, I can bring you into Canon. I'm like, okay, I don't know if it was, again, another guy that I shouldn't trust, but I'm like, okay, let's see. And turned out to be, awesome. He brought me, everybody loved me at Canon, and we started growing this business office, in London. I wrote a book on personal branding, and then I'm like, okay, but we have this one client, I want more. And I Google how to sell. Who comes out? Grant Cardone, Las Vegas. Booked the ticket, and I'm already making pretty decent money there. I bought my first property. I don't know, maybe 24. I'm 31 now, so 25. And I went to Vegas, and you're there, and I'm this young guy, wearing a jacket or something, and I'm like, Bradley, and I saw you before I was preparing for going to Vegas, because I didn't know where I was going. I'm like, I don't know what to expect, nothing. I just know that I want to learn how to sell from people in America. I don't even know I know where America, it's an exaggeration, but it's far away. I've never been, to Vegas. It's all new. And so when I see you, I took a photo with you, and I became a client. So I bought a few courses. Well, I'm not going to go into the details, but bought a few courses, and I'm like, oh, wow, they probably need help. Who's Lightspeed? And I figured it's Bradley. And we had a photo that I took with you at the first 10X in Vegas. And so I messaged you on Instagram. I'm in London then. And then you responded, and you're like, bro, here is my assistant, talk to Maria. So I messaged Maria, and then I came to Vegas again, and you gave me 20 minutes. So that I came here 20 minutes, the 20 minutes went into 3 hours. And I don't know if you saw something I pitched, and you needed a solution, and you became a client, and then I've started learning sales from you. And then I'm like, oh, I love America. I love picking up, clients. It's an awesome environment. And then so from that point on, I would just fly back and forth, and we've signed up some other smaller clients here because I didn't have any reputation. And 2020, with the cough season, and I'm like, bro, UK shut down, Europe shut down. I have to do something. My contracts are paused in Europe. And there's a rule, executive order, you cannot travel from Europe to the US. So what do?
You do it.
I do it. I travel. So I call a lawyer. The lawyer tells me, no, don't go. Do not even go. It's peak cough season. And I remember you because I even came to Lightspeed, so I remember your reaction. You're like, dude, what are you doing here? You were like, I don't know, a few feet away from me, like, hey, you like, hope you didn't bring anything. So I had to go through Mexico. So I found a way. I didn't listen to the lawyer. I'm like, I'm gonna go through Mexico. I'll spend 2 weeks in Mexico, and I'll get into US. If they deport me back, so be it. If they blacklist me, so be it. I roll the dice. And so I came here during the peak, and the border guard asked me, what are you doing here? I was the only one. Nobody was there. I'm like, I have businesses here, And he's like, you shouldn't be here. Why are you here? What are you doing? You know that we can deport you. How did you fly in here? I said, I flew from Mexico. And he opens my passport, and he said, you know that what you did. He's like, what you did is illegal. So I didn't know what to say. Which was, again, I did. It was all full legal. Because I quarantined for 2 weeks, and then I came. So the only catch was you need to stay in Mexico for 2 weeks, as long as it's 2 weeks. But he says, stand there. So he sent me in a corner, and I was visiting US before, so they always ask me questions, but they never send me to any interrogation room. Now they send me to an interrogation room with some, I don't know, serial guy who was convicted, who speaks, Spanish only. They had to translate him so I can understand what he says. And I'm like, oh my, I'm gonna be deported. Like, I'm gonna be probably blacklisted. I'm never gonna go back to the US. They took my passport. They asked me a few questions, how long have you been coming here for? So I said, I always came here for 2 days, 3 days, whatever. And he said, okay, wait there. So I wait another 20 minutes. The guy comes out. Marcin, here's your passport. Enjoy your stay. From that on, found a lawyer. Boom, 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 papers. Within a few months, green card. Because I have very good, I have very good reputation, very good CV. I know, wrote a book, built a business. They check my bank account. You have to have a certain amount of money, cash flow. I had to provide all of that. So the US government has a whole book on me, all my, properties, this and that.
Well, plus you got a kind face, like you look trusting.
Thank you.
And you're all smiling and happy, and you look like Waldo or Harry Potter mix. Right. But like people just like you when they start talking to you. So, dude, you're likable. So again, you said, well, what did you see? Well, I mean, when you came in here, I didn't know that you went through all that at all. I just thought, and I didn't know that you were in London. Hey, this dude's cool. So I gave you a shot because, again, I'm like you, bro. I just roll the dice. What's the worst that happens? You screw me, then I freaking now don't trust anybody, and I'm walking around with no trust. And now I'm missing opportunities because I got burnt on one. Like, why would anyone miss an opportunity because they got burnt on one? I'm not like that, dude. I'll get burnt again. I've been burnt before. I'll be burnt again. And it doesn't scare me, which is why I'm winning, because I'm willing to play the game. I'm willing to roll the dice. You got to be willing to roll the dice.
Totally.
But eventually, boom, boom, boom. Now you're cranking. Now old Emersoft is up and cranking. You're not making $40K a year.
Oh, no.
You're way beyond that. You're helping enterprise companies. You partnered up somehow. You're working for Gary Cardone.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, a lot of people don't know, Gary is Grant's twin brother. And
correct.
Gary's the one that like loaned Grant money from a long time ago.
Correct.
Like Gary had his own money.
Oh, Gary, it's interesting because so Grant went the retail way, and then Gary went the corporate way. They're both extremely successful.
Yeah.
And
but Gary's more into crypto than Grant is.
Yeah, he always catches like the trends. Maybe.
What's he saying now?
What's he saying now?
About crypto? Like, is there a coin everyone should be looking at? I always say XRP.
He gave a few calls, but
what's he say about XRP?
I'm not gonna comment on that if you don't mind. I can tell you after the podcast.
Why?
Because I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to give away any investment advice.
Mm-mm.
But I'll tell you after the podcast.
All right.
And I don't want to comment on any specific. But I'll comment on.
Well, it's about up.
Yeah. So you just asked me the question, so let me answer. So Gary was here on the podcast as well, and then he said to buy Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was at what, 16,000, 17,000.
Yeah.
So I think people would do pretty well if they bought it, and I think this is still,
Well, I like Gary. Gary's a good dude.
He's an awesome guy.
I like Grant. Grant's a good dude, but Gary seems a little bit like less showmany.
I don't know Grant, so I can't comment. But
well, Grant's like Gary, but they're twins. But
correct. Grant's
more, like you said, retail, showman, stage, and Gary's kind of more like laid back and corporate-y, or just mellow. But anyway, so now Emersoft is rocking. I want to make sure that people listening to this episode realize that now Emersoft isn't a little company where old Marcin's trying to get by. Like, he's building it. He's got a force of reliable tech people that can build apps, websites, programs, software, and you're doing it for a lot of different people. You're killing the game. So if anybody out there is like, hey, I need a good tech guy, or I need a good tech team that they're thinking bringing in-house, my comment is, dude, listen, nowadays, if you hire an agency that's good and reliable, it's just the same thing. A lot of times it's even cheaper. Why? Well, because like if I pay this guy $100,000 and this guy $100,000, that's $200,000. I could use you 3 times a year at $60,000 a pop. I save $20,000. So it's, again, just a good idea to do. What kind of tech do people need in any business, do you think?
Well, they need any business needs a CRM. So we are certified HubSpot and Salesforce partner, and also now we came up with a deal because we noticed a gap in the market. So we've started developing our own CRM. We just put an investment deck together. We're raising $5 million. So
maybe I'll get in on that. That's for a CRM.
So what's that?
A good one. You're building your own CRM.
Correct. So we're gonna focus on 3 things quickly. Number 1. We're gonna focus on leveraging AI. Quick thing. If you enter any data into a CRM, you just have dummy contacts. So, Bradley, Lightspeed at Lightspeed VT or whatever. And AI should automatically, the moment you do that,
fill out all the boxes.
Should go to your website, go to your LinkedIn, and leverage that. Give you a summary. Boom, done. Nobody does that. Nobody. So maybe one of our competitors listens and does that. Go ahead. But AI is so hard that I'm not afraid. And then number 2, we're going to do outbound marketing. So I have an awesome partner for cold emails and text. I'll show you the demo afterwards. But one thing that's problematic is you have to, if you want to do cold emails to all those people on your list, now it doesn't work because you need to warm them up. This guy tells you this doesn't work. The deliverability doesn't work. So
the FTC says you can't.
Yeah, so we found a way to automate all of that, outbound marketing. So we're gonna focus on text and cold emails to make it easy for the business owner. And number 3, we're gonna focus on basically white glove concierge service. So if you're willing to pay more, we're gonna do all of that for you, or we're gonna partner. Basically, we're gonna create a marketplace in that deal, but it's gonna be all leveraged with AI. And now, when I just exited one of my companies, we had over 1,000 people on that deal. And then people wanted, like my clients wanted to, it was a SaaS business, wanted to give us money. And I said, no, I don't, because I had some organic money, small money, which I didn't know. So now I've learned OPM, other people's money. It doesn't mean that you take that money and you misappropriate it. It just means that you have more leverage. If you're a good guy, if you have good intentions, and you've learned that, and I've learned a lot from, Gary and like how private equity works and how the deals are, especially with, for example, crypto, you learn a lot about tokenomics, and any business really is tokenomics. It's tokenomics. So I've learned a lot about, all of that. And now what we're going to do, because clients wanted to give us money, they were asking me, I never wanted to take it. Now we have, lawyers and the legal team. Now I can basically give you want to give us, $10,000, I'll call it a small investment or whatever. But yeah, we'll take it. We have a system for that now. So
what's the ARR?
What do you mean?
On the software, like projected.
So I'll tell you about the space.
What's the return on that investment?
Well, I don't know now.
Like if I put $100,000 in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna.
You got to have some estimates, don't you?
Yes, let me tell you. So this industry, you probably know because you're in the edtech space. This industry grows 15% annually, and it's 80 billion right now. So it's gonna go projected to the 2028. It's gonna grow, let's say, at 130 billion. Any business that wants to grow is not gonna use a paper, sticky notes, whatever. Any business, especially in the educators, I was talking to Richard here, and he was like, yeah, I work with a lot of those influencers or whatnot. They don't have any CRM because of what you said. Like, there's no people. They need a team that integrates that. The solutions are there, but it's really difficult to integrate it, and it's expensive. The cost can actually, like, I'm paying for my, for our size of the business, we use HubSpot internally. But the bill is like, for full-time employee pretty much. But
what do you think the best CRM is?
Depends on the size of the business. For your company, for Lightspeed, HubSpot.
Why not GHL?
Could be, but it's too small, I think, because you need all the integrations out of the box. You need reliable system when people come in, and GHL can be tomorrow an outage or I don't know. It's too small of a business to deal with. And then as you grow,
well, I have both, but everyone keeps using GHL.
I know,
and I'm like, well, just pick one. And I think I said that about a week ago. They said, well, GHL then. Should I say, no.
Well, look at the
HubSpot.
bill. Look at the bill. So come ask them, hey, give me the bill. So that's going to be probably one of the reasons. And I know I talk to a lot of businesses and they're like, I mean, it's just the cost is too much. So we're going to be kind of in between. We're going to look at GHL, what they do wrong, what the big guys, because again, we're a certified Salesforce partner, been to a lot of their events, and I know people in the ecosystem. We're a certified HubSpot partner. And I have stories where I can tell you where the inefficiencies are with such a big company. So now we're coming in with our CRM, and I've just sent the first batch of emails, 5,000 emails. We sent 5,000 cold emails, 200 responses from VCs, 66 positives. And then from those 66, they want a meeting with me. The only thing I said was the stats that I gave you about the industry. AI, we're going to leverage, and we're going to use CRM because we know obviously what's happening here. And then now I'm going to go a little bit different about it. I'm going after the concept. I'm not even telling people, oh, we're going to build this company and, spend time or whatever. No. It's concept. So we're raising 5 million, which, by the way, I was with a VC, first VC from this cold campaign. He tells me, this is not enough that you're raising. I'm going to bring you a lead investor. We're going to raise more. I'm like, no, let's start with 5. And so what we're going to do, we're going to raise 5, close it. And I've seen those deals, how it happens. So you close the deal, close the $5 million deal. We already invested 100K into the demo that we have, the core-based platform. So we're not developing because of the mistakes that I made in the past where I was putting money from my own pocket. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's grow it. And just spreadsheeting to features. Now I'm all about concept. And I'm like, as long as the people like you believe to write me a check, then I know the concept is validated on the first level. And now I know the market, so I can leverage the guys and relationships like you in the edtech space. We're gonna go and partner with Lightspeed or Bradley. And you said, I mean, I'm a likable guy, trustworthy guy. If you give me money, I'll take care of your money. And then, go to talk to any of my clients. And I've done those deals. I've been through one. So now I know how to do it. And we're gonna basically from day one, the moment the round is closed, I'm going to go to bigger guys with bigger money. Like, for example, I was talking to the guy from, I'm not going to name the name, but he was like, oh, wow, actually, our chairman of the board, we're going to be on they raised 200 million. They're like, oh, we're going to be on the acquisition spree. So you guys could be one of the candidates. So what they're buying, they're not buying a fully end product. They're just buying a team. So because I've already de-risked the whole deal. I have a team of 25 people. You don't need to hire them. You don't need to wipe their asses off. They're working on deals and they're going to be assigned to this deal. So you're buying a team with a concept, with leadership. How much are you willing to give us now? 20 million? Are you going to take this deal? Cool. I'll repay the investors. So you made 400% on your deal. From day one, we're selling and we're building cash flow and we're building value as well.
I like that.
So that's, so if someone wants to sign up, we're going to potentially, if you allow, put a link. It's
What's the link?
Emersoft.ai.
Emersoft.ai.
/CRM to sign up for the deal. Or if you want to learn about Emersoft, then talk to us about AI chatbots, CRMs, or you need development resources. But again, if you're a one-man band, talk to us. I'll talk to anyone. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. I love this saying from you.
That's right.
But
in other words, what he's saying is, guys, if you're a little too small, he may not be able to take you on. But if you're a company that needs reliable tech and software, apps, CRM integration, getting you dialed in, automation, organization, he does it for one of my coaching groups we call the fraternity. So he's definitely reliable. He's never disappeared. Apparently, if he'll give you dough, he's stuck with you. On the rest of what he said is, hey, folks, you guys want to get in on the CRM software he's going to devise and blow up, go to Emersoft.ai /CRM and inquire about it. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on. I like that you've done well. I didn't know that background about you. That makes me even like you even more.
I'm from the Bradley stable. So
that's right. You went through the shit. And see, that's why I don't run around acting like, oh, I had such a bad childhood, because like yours was worse than mine. But I mean, people think mine's bad. And I'm like, dude, it wasn't that bad. Like, it really wasn't. My childhood wasn't bad. I didn't get abused, that's for sure. Even though I'd get spanked by a belt. But at the end of the day, man, it boils down to mindset, bro. You had the mindset. You developed it, or you inherited it, or you learned it, whatever the case is, bro. If someone said, how'd Marcin do it? Because I have a feeling that CRM is going to be big, because you're looking at the holes. You already know what works. If someone comes out with a better product, it's because if they're smart, they went and found what customers didn't like about this one, didn't like about this one, didn't like about this one, and they solve for that. They come out with the newest one. Now everyone loves that one. And then someone will come along and do it to you, because that's how it works. You know, it comes out, technology comes out, and then everybody figures out a better way to do it, or plugs the holes by doing so. But anyway, I think you're going to end up blowing that thing up. So I might look at the deck myself. So if you're looking to invest, hit him up at Marcin Ruman, or again on YouTube at Emersoft. And then of course his website, Emersoft.co.
Correct.
Glad you made it through, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
All right, folks. Peace out. As always, till next time, keep it real.